Hi guys. So I was reading an article about Prince Harry. There's a link in the description for this. As one of the most privileged white men in the world with no psychology training at all, Harry felt like he should be Brit-splaining to us how we should stop talking about mental health and start talking about mental fitness. Now, I'd like to agree with him, but then we would both be wrong. And it should shock nobody that a royal was wrong, but it's not enough actually to say he was wrong, because like a stop clock that's right twice a day, Harry managed to stumble upon one of the most important mental health topics imaginable. So let's do it. Let's talk about mental health and mental fitness. We'll talk about what each of these things are, when it's appropriate to work on one over the other, and we'll contrast these ideas with concepts of self-identity, personality traits, and behaviors. So let's see the title card. Before we go any further, make sure to click like and subscribe. That way you'll get to see more content like this. Also, to help other people find this content. You can also join my Patreon. There'll be links down below. And a reminder at the end of the video. For now, enjoy the rest of the video. Now let's start by saying that trying to present these topics as mutually exclusive is ridiculous. You don't go to the gym to cure cancer, because we understand that physical health and physical fitness are different things. They're different practices to the extent that they're practices at all. Likewise, you don't meditate to cure depression. You meditate to build up your brain so that you can better handle stress and chaotic environments and so forth that might otherwise cause you to spiral into depression if you didn't handle them well. So it's obvious there are differences, but what are they exactly? Let's start by talking about physical health and physical fitness. Now, if you watched any of my mental health videos before, you already know that mental health is physical. So I'm not going to go into a discussion about that here, and I'll simply refer you to previous videos. But it is useful to talk about physical health and physical fitness. So physical health is simply the state of your health, your heart rate, blood oxygenation level, etc., whether or not you're sick. If you are healthy, then you either have no medical conditions or you have all medical conditions treated and under control. So, for example, maybe you're diabetic. If you're a healthy diabetic, then that means you're taking your medication or your insulin shots or whatever as often as you need to, and that your blood sugar is being regulated properly. So physical health is about the state of your body. How much you bench press or how much you weigh, how often you go to the gym or martial arts class or whatever. None of this is physical health. It's not necessarily unrelated, but none of it says anything about your physical health. If it did, Douglas Adams would still be with us. He made sure he never missed a workout. And in the end, turned out he had an undiagnosed heart condition that working out made worse and ended up being a factor in his death. And he's hardly alone. One of the bigger mysteries back during COVID was why there were so many young, physically fit people who were dying of COVID. It seemed like a paradox, but it's not. I don't really have an answer to why these people are dying of COVID, and that's not really what this video is about. I'm asking the question because it illustrates that physical health is not physical fitness. So yes, as a matter of fact, that does mean that being overweight or obese says nothing about your health. The best you can hope for, if thin is your goal, is that your size is a symptom of a treatable medical condition. Because if it's not, and you're perfectly healthy at a size that you don't like, then becoming fit could cause more problems than it solves. So physical fitness then is about what your body is trained to do. So if you train to run marathons, then your body will be able to run long distances without too much difficulty. It's also not directly related to other things you do. For example, I smoke cigarettes. Back when I was working at the school, I would go downstairs and outside to smoke. And then this one day I was running kind of late. I had to get up and set up the lab. And so I was running up the stairs, and there happened to be this overweight woman talking to her friend walking up the stairs, and she was talking about how it's good that I don't smoke because I can go up a flight of stairs without being winded. So I ran right past her with what was left of my cigarette, got to the top, looked at her, chunked the cigarette out, and went inside. What she didn't know is that at that time I was riding a bicycle 20 miles a day. I was in pretty good shape. So at the heart of it, fitness is really about preparation, usually accomplished through practice and training. It may improve your health, and it usually does. It may adversely affect your health, and it occasionally does. Ideally, you'd see a doctor regularly whenever you're in a training regimen so that your doctor can monitor your health, see how your physical fitness is affecting it. I believe you can see where this is going. So when we talk about mental health, we're talking about the state of your thoughts, feelings, and behaviors. If your thoughts are healthy, but your feelings are not, then you'll engage in ineffective acting out behaviors, and we'll say you probably have a mental illness. If your thoughts are unhealthy, but your feelings are healthy, then there's ineffective behaviors, and we'll probably say you have a mental illness. Mental fitness, on the other hand, is a much more difficult beast to describe. A big part of mental fitness is neuroplasticity, which is the property that describes how quickly and easily your brain is able to make and use new neural pathways. But it's not the most important part, even if it is the part that gives us the saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. So mental fitness includes concepts like resilience, which is a sort of blanket term for your ability to handle stress and to move on from stressful experiences. Acceptance, which when practiced properly and frequently leads to an increased ability to use radical acceptance when needed, like for a traumatic experience. Self-esteem, even though it's an outdated concept nowadays, the idea of having a positive sense of self is a part of mental fitness. Now, wellness, which isn't a very good word, in part because of how it's used so frequently by people who don't understand it. At its base, wellness is simply about a state of mind where you are not ill. It's like having the flu versus not having the flu. If you are depressed because you're grieving, you can be well because that's a normal response to a loss. If you're suffering long-term depression, you are not well, you are ill, and you need treatment, whether self-administered or administered by a professional. Wellness is often talked about by another word in therapy, baseline. When your baseline mood, thoughts, and feelings aren't ill, and you are at baseline, then you are well. Wellness says nothing about positive feelings like happiness or love. It refers to an absence of illness. So mental fitness isn't a personality trait. It's something you learn. It's a series of skills that you must practice. It is training. In a perfect world, our parents would include mental fitness as one of the things they teach us when we're growing up. We don't live in that world, so we're going to have to do something different. Mental fitness is something we could teach in schools. We could do a DBT session for everybody starting in middle school, going all the way up through high school. That would be great. And if you watched my What is Treatment video, then you have an idea how professionals focus on mental fitness. And these same concepts and techniques could easily be introduced in youth education, regardless of a person's mental health state. Now, it's possible to have good mental health and poor mental fitness. It's also possible to have good mental fitness and bad mental health. I know it sounds paradoxical, but it's not. Just think about an Olympic athlete who had to take time off because they had cancer. And you can see how this easily works. Now, I'm someone who generally has good mental fitness, and the health dips and rises, ebbs and flows, we'll call it. But it is true for the most part that if you have good mental fitness, you won't have poor mental health, at least not for long. But it's not guaranteed. Now, you can't take mental fitness for granted. Mental fitness requires practice and training, just like physical fitness. So this is the part of the video where I talk about meditation. Again, meditation is the best tool that we know about right now to train your brain and increase your mental fitness. Now, how often you need to meditate is very similar to how often you need to run or lift weights to achieve your fitness goals. Some people need to meditate every day. Some people 3 or 4 times a week, once a week, whatever. Me personally, once a week is good, twice a week is better, more than that, and I start hitting diminishing returns. Now, journaling is another tried and true form of brain exercise, as long as you're writing non-judgmentally and not using it as a form of rumination. So basically, you would just write about your day, not in a matter-of-fact way necessarily. You talk about your feelings, whatever. There is a lot of discussion about where the most benefits come from when journaling, but it's pretty indisputable that if you spend 20 minutes or longer every week organizing your thoughts and feelings about the week you just had, you will increase your mental fitness. Now, there are behavior chains, which I talked to in my What is Treatment video. Doing a behavior chain every so often is pretty helpful. But I really want to focus on here is being able to do the intervention in real time. So what I mean by that is you're supposed to do the behavior chain in real time. So when something stressful happens, you can catch your feeling before it gets out of control. And before you get crazy, stop it, cope with it, and then figure out an effective way to respond to it, and then respond effectively in a way that meets your needs or gets your needs met while maintaining or enhancing your relationships. So that's like the whole point of behavior chains. Positive affirmations, believe it or not, can help, even if you don't truly believe in them. If you look in the mirror every time you pass it and say, damn dude, you're pretty hot. After a while, okay, so obviously I did this. I don't have any illusions about how I look, but I do have a fair amount of self-confidence, and for the most part, I don't have insecurities about how I look, unless I meet someone that I'm really attracted to and I really want them to like me. This does also include saying things about yourself that aren't true yet, but that you want to be true, and you say it like they already are. Someone I have known in the past would do very well by positive affirming her way to I tell the truth all the time, and then working on actually telling the truth all the time. Now, if it feels manipulative, just remember that in order for something to be manipulative, it can't have your best interests in mind. It needs to be trying to hurt you, and you have your best interests in mind, so you're not actually manipulating yourself. Then there's also living in the moment. This isn't just for Jedi, it's for everybody. The past has already happened. Can't do anything about it. There's no point letting it ruin the present moment. The future hasn't happened yet. You don't really know what's going to happen, so there's no point in letting that ruin the present moment. And there goes your resentment and your anxiety, and they're out of your life just by living in the present moment. Now, physical fitness is often cited as a part of mental fitness, and I'm going to disagree with that. One of the reasons is because there are people who, for various physical reasons, actually can't work out or achieve any particular fitness goals. And if they can't, then they wouldn't be able to have mental fitness, except they totally can. You can have mental fitness without physical fitness. Now, your physical health can and will influence your mental health. And you can do physical fitness exercise in a way that improves your mental fitness. You can do mental fitness exercise in a way that improves your physical fitness. Yoga, meditation, there you go. But if I had a nickel for every overachiever who injured themselves working out too hard, got depressed, and fell off the wagon, well, I wouldn't be living in a van right now. Now, I'd like to end this video by thanking Harry. First, I'm going to point out that I only used his stupid title once in this video, and that was just to make sure that you knew which Harry I was talking about, that it wasn't just some random Harry. And the reason for that is because I'm an American, and I don't give a crap about your stupid royal title. Anyway, I'd like to thank Harry for being the kind of stopped clock that doesn't understand how time works, in a way that he brought up mental fitness in a way that will get a lot of people talking about it. So thank you for that, Harry. I hope they find this video rather than listen to what your dumbass has to say. And I hope this video helps you to understand that both mental health and mental fitness are important, and we can all work together to improve ourselves. Bye, guys.